With the transfer window closing in just a few days, Julián Álvarez's situation at Atletico Madrid is reaching boiling point. The tension with the supporters has exploded. The boos are now ringing around the Metropolitano, and even more remarkably, there are claims that this hostility could actually be part of a deliberate strategy orchestrated by the club to pressure the Argentine into making a drastic decision. The pressure is now at its absolute peak. So what is Atletico really trying to achieve, and what will Alvarez decide with the clock ticking down? Let's find out. Welcome to 12th League Daily, the sharp daily roundup of football news. The biggest shockwave of the weekend is undoubtedly coming from the Spanish capital. You only need to look at the front pages of the four major Spanish sports newspapers to understand the scale of the disaster. Marca and Diario AS splash the same brutally direct message across their front pages, with Sin Perdón, no forgiveness, while Mundo Deportivo goes with the icy Divorcio Total, total divorce, and Sport highlights Julian pitado in El Metropolitano, Julian booed at the Metropolitano. To understand the bitterness behind this widespread backlash, we need to go back to the Argentine World Cup winner's explosive comments during the recent World Cup, when he openly expressed his desire to leave Los Colchoneros and join FC Barcelona, a desire to leave that was seen as an unforgivable affront by the club's hierarchy and the Rojiblanco faithful. Faced with this stance, Atletico Madrid's leadership took a hard line, categorically refusing any transfer to their Catalan rivals and demanding that the player honour his contractual commitment. On Sunday evening, during Atletico's home game against Villarreal CF in the second round of La Liga, the pressure cooker finally exploded. As detailed extensively by Marca and AS, the treatment received by the Argentine was merciless. As soon as the players appeared for the warm-up, a deafening wave of boos came down from the stands at the Metropolitano. During the match, every touch and every involvement from the number 19 was met with constant hostility. But the most surreal scene came at the final whistle. Julián Álvarez was immediately separated from the collective celebrations. Following an explicit decision from the club's hierarchy to avoid incidents or confrontations with the supporters, the player was forced to make his way back to the dressing room corridor alone, head down and isolated under a storm of boos. Striking images that appear to confirm an increasingly irreparable break between the striker and his supporters. Asked by the media about the boos, in his post-match press conference, Diego Simeone defended Julián Álvarez and called for unity to help him get back to 100%.
No, yo no estoy para dar consejos. Yo creo que me tengo que centrar en mi trabajo, que es deportivamente dar lo mejor para Atlético de Madrid. Lo único que sé que si el Atlético de Madrid quiere ganar algún título, necesitamos estar juntos, necesitamos tener delanteros y necesitamos tener delanteros importantes. Y para eso necesitamos obviamente trabajar en consecuencia todos de lo que necesitamos.
But let's come back to the most troubling part. According to some insider journalists, notably Juan Jesus, this humiliation session was deliberately planned and organized by Atletico Madrid's hierarchy. It appears that Diego Simeone had no intention of selecting Julián Álvarez for the match against Villarreal. His inclusion reportedly came from a direct order from Gil Marin, the club's CEO and the main opponent of Álvarez's move to FC Barcelona. The objective is very clear: to make sure the supporters boo him and wear him psychologically down so that the player becomes tired of the situation and eventually accepts any way out of the club, particularly a move to Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, who was a major admirer of the player. So, in simple terms, Atletico are prepared to sell him to everyone except Barcelona, and they're trying to force his hand towards a move to Arsenal because for now the player has only FC Barcelona in mind. Having settled in well with his family in Spain, he has no intention of returning to England. With the transfer window approaching its end, Atletico now face an almost impossible dilemma. Either sell him to FC Barcelona after repeatedly insisting that this would never happen, something that would be extremely humiliating in terms of pride and image, or keep him at the club and hope he can still produce a strong season. After all, there have been plenty of examples in the past of players who were blocked from leaving their clubs after submitting transfer requests, and nevertheless went on to perform and have successful seasons. The most striking example remains Thomas Müller in 2015, when his request to move to Manchester United was blocked by Bayern Munich's hierarchy. But in reality, Alvarez's situation is undeniably darker than Müller's. Müller remained a fan favourite among Bayern supporters despite his transfer request. There was no major conflict with the club's leadership, just a sporting disagreement, and the player was not humiliated or treated differently. It was simply a matter of carrying on as normal. At Atletico, the relationship with the club's hierarchy is broken, particularly with Gil Marin, with Alvarez's representatives accusing him of failing to honour a moral agreement to negotiate if FC Barcelona came forward. With the supporters, the break is even brutal, marked by boos, hostile banners at the stadium and at the training ground. When questioned by the media, many of them are demanding that he leave the club and consider him unwanted.
Se tiene que ir.
Vaya para el Barça si quiere, gratis. Yo me lo quedaba. Le daría un banquillazo, se merece un banquillazo, sí. No le puede faltar el respeto al Atleti de esa manera.
Si se queda en el Atlético Madrid, ¿qué hacemos?
Bueno, un perdón siempre es bienvenido.
Que se vaya, dejar que se vaya. Yo creo que sí, yo creo que sí. Pues no siente los colores, no le apetece estar aquí, no queremos un jugador que no quiera estar en el Atleti.
As for Diego Simeone, the coach's explosive and combative style means he only wants players who are fully committed to the project and willing to give 100%. That no longer appears to be the case with Julián Álvarez, and this is compounded by the ongoing tensions between the player and the coach during the previous season. As Diego Simeone has stated several times, the decision to keep Alvarez has come from the club's hierarchy, and he's standing by that decision. Taking all of this into account, even though Atletico are perfectly within their rights to keep the player for next season rather than strengthen a rival, this decision would be a risky gamble from a sporting perspective. So, I genuinely believe there is still a chance, even this late in the transfer window, of Alvarez moving to FC Barcelona, or in a major surprise to Arsenal, especially since Atletico reportedly are exploring a move for Nicholas Jackson and trying to bring him in on loan from Chelsea as they prepare for a potential departure. We're now just 1 week away from the transfer window closing, and this Julián Álvarez saga could go right down to the wire. Do you understand Atletico's stance, or have they pushed things too far? And if you were Alvarez, would you choose a move to Arsenal rather than risk spending another season in a situation that has clearly become so toxic? Let us know what you think in the comments. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you soon for the next episode of 12th League Daily.